Unconsistently consistent.
Hello, and welcome back to Inconsistently Consistent, the podcast where I know nothing and Rachel knows everything. I'm one of your hosts, Melanie.
I'm the other host, Rachel.
Rachel the all-knowing.
I'm the all-knowing. For this episode, I am the all-knowing. Most of the time it's like split 50-50. Who's the all-knowing?
Depends on the topic.
Depends on the topic. For this one, I am the all-knowing.
I've purposefully avoided all posts, videos, reels, any of it with anything about this. I've only seen video titles on YouTube, and I've avoided it purposefully so that I could hear it all fresh from Rachel, the all-knowing on this topic. Guru Rachel.
Yes. So, I'm going to paint you a picture.
Hard to do on a podcast.
I know.
An audio-only
I'm a
podcast.
DM now. I'm a DM now, so this is part of my job, to paint visual pictures. And it works. Imagine yourself going to seek mental health help from a professional.
Been there, done that, yes.
We've both been there, done that. I currently have people coming to me for that. And imagine you're sitting in the waiting room and you meet your mental health professional, whether it's a psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, social worker, psychotherapist, sex therapist, whatever it is. And you're like, you're attractive. This person's very attractive.
Just
and
damn.
And you're like, damn. And over the course of months, you realize you've fallen in love with
Jesus.
However, you in your distorted cognitive thinking believe that they are also in love with you. And they're using this to keep you.
So these were just really expensive dates that I've had to pay for?
Yes.
This seems one-sided.
This, I'm sure our listeners have probably seen about this. This is the woman, the story of Kendra, who has fallen in love with her psychiatrist. And she believes that he was fully aware and manipulated her.
Yeah. And how does she go this long before coming to that kind of realization of this is not healthy? Because even if he didn't manipulate or anything, she's just going through this all the time, being I have to pay to spend time with this man I think I'm in love with. And he loves me, but he'll only be here to love me if I pay him.
Yeah. So,
right?
I'm going to take you back. So, I'm going to introduce you to Kendra. I'm not going to use her last name so people don't go look her up and whatever. So, Kendra is a life coach, a tutor, a yoga instructor. This is what got me. An ADHD coach.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
She's giving people advice.
She is.
She couldn't even give herself good advice.
At the time of this coming out, I believe there was a 25-part TikTok series on her TikTok describing this.
Oh, she talks about it?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. No. The psychiatrist has not really said anything on it as far as I'm aware. This is all from her perspective.
Oh, I expected it to be you know how with true crime, you don't have the killer or the victim talking about it. You have random people on the internet who have researched this and are speaking about it. I assumed people were talking about it having looked at news stories or something and were bringing the information to light, not her
No, no.
herself
Oh, no, no.
is reporting live on scene.
Oh, no, no. This is from her mouth. There
Uh,
are people who are commenting on it, but like the story, it is from her. This is on her TikTok. She has done a 25, maybe plus part series on falling in love with her psychiatrist and how he manipulated her using that.
Jeez.
So, this is my new Roman Empire. So, around 4 years ago, I have an article up about this as
hmm
well. Kendra was looking for a new therapist and she came across a quote, good looking man around her age.
Okay, you're looking for a therapist. You're not on Tinder.
she described feeling seen as they discussed past trauma, and she described it as a trauma bond that connected her. And I'm like, okay, you're trauma bonding with your psychiatrist. That's a red flag number one.
Hmm.
So, she found herself catching feelings, but instead of doing the responsible thing, which is keeping it to herself or maybe finding a different therapist so you didn't have transference occur. Um, she told her psychiatrist that she had fallen in love with him.
To be fair, I think, like, not knowing where this is going,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only appropriate thing to do when you realize you have feelings for, like, a therapist or a medical professional or something, like, especially a mental health professional who's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to help you with that. Like, if you tell them this, I expect their next result is like the next thing they're going to do is be like, that's not okay. I can't do my job properly. I'm going to help you find another person to take this on for you and like tell you how this is not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I expect to happen. Like the should ideal world thing. Like,
Yeah.
am I right? And that's kind of like the way to handle that if your client tells you that?
So it depends. So basically, what Kendra is experiencing is called transference, where she projects feelings from either a past lover. In her case, it was an ex boyfriend.
Mhm.
Um, or her boyfriend, I guess at the time. I don't know if they're still together or not, but this was in 2023. Her boyfriend at the time, and she was kind of saying like, "Oh, our sex life isn't the great," blah 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 blah, and
Mhm.
that's when she admitted her attraction to him. Now, the key thing about this, I'm gonna just little education purpose difference
Mhm.
between a psychiatrist and a psychologist, because she was seeing a psychologist or a therapist of some sort as well. Psychiatrist is someone who's gone to medical school, so they can prescribe medication and diagnose.
Mhm.
So she was specifically going to him for medication management regarding her ADHD because she has ADHD.
Mhm.
And she asked him at one point if he could be her regular therapist, and he kind of was like, no.
Yeah.
So this is her perception of when she told him that she was in love with him. She said he smiled so big at this admission.
Okay.
And then she is seeing the boundaries becoming, and her, this is all her perspective. She's like, the
Mhm.
professional boundaries are becoming blurry because one minute he's complimenting the glasses, and then the next minute he's being like, well, this is a professional relationship. We need to have boundaries in place.
Yeah, it seems a little bit like Kendra's that creep at the bar
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't understand what friendly
Mm-hmm.
is versus like attraction or interest,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like any politeness, any niceness without being like "get away, you fucking creep"
Yeah.
is interpreted as like invitation.
Yeah. You also have to be careful in kind of this relationship between a mental health professional and a patient, because there is a power imbalance in place,
Mhm.
obviously. And some people when they experience these intense feelings towards their mental health professional, um, it's because they're not getting something from their actual life, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and they've been rejected for expressing these feelings. So there's a very delicate way that you have to handle that when you have someone who is, depending on what you've learned throughout the session, if they have a fear of rejection or a fear of like not being liked or anything. It's a very fine, delicate balance to kind of navigate how to ensure that you're not crossing professional boundaries that you have in place.
Mhm.
So it's like it's a very difficult thing to kind of manage.
Yeah.
Like we have certain kind of ethics in place to protect us and our clients. So obviously one of the big thing is we're not supposed to accept gifts from
Hmm.
our clients.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're not supposed to accept them. It's like it's kind of it gets blurry. So like for example, if they were to give you, they baked cookies,
Mhm.
that one is kind of like because you could accept them and be like, oh well, I'm going to share them with everybody in the office.
Yeah.
So like that's a little more like, okay, you accept this, but I'm going to share it, so it's not like you're giving it specifically to me. If they're trying to give you something specific, like I had a client in my practicum who tried repeatedly to give me gifts.
Okay.
Like he tried to give me cookies, he tried to give me a plant, and
Mhm.
I had to consistently be like, no, I can't accept this. I can't accept this.
Yeah.
Cuz like you don't want to create this expectation or kind of lead into a dual relationship that could be harmful to them in the long run.
Mhm. It makes sense now that you say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not something that like clued in for me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Now, some people might be more lenient on that. Like, there's also like we're gonna get the nitty gritty of it is a bit more complicated because if it's like a cultural thing, like they give gifts to like certain cultures give gifts as a sign of respect, so that makes it a little more complicated because like if you
Mhm.
reject it, then it's kind of like you're disrespecting the culture. So that's a bit more like it's very nitty gritty and
Yeah.
very like gray with regards to kind of the gift accepting, but the general rule is like we don't accept gifts from clients.
Mhm.
Well, I don't anyways. I know some people have accepted gifts from their clients, but like, me personally, I have not accepted any gifts.
Mhm.
The other thing is because Kendra's was just been so like, oh my gosh, this is so like my life is just whatever. She started talking to Chat GPT.
Oh, that never goes well.
And she named the Chat GPT Henry. I'm not sure if this is the psychiatrist's name or if this is just a random name she pulled out of it somewhere. But she started talking to the Chat GPT therapist to be like, are my feelings valid? Is he actually in love with me? And apparently she's fallen for the Chat GPT therapist.
Oh no.
Oh yeah,
She's fallen for AI?
she has.
Okay, that is a new Hallmark movie waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I can just picture it. Honestly, I might write it.
I think you should. I think that'd be a great.
Yeah. Woman falls for AI?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and like woman destroys whole world to be together.
Yeah.
Be a great like sci-fi apocalypse horror
Mm-hmm.
style. There's so many
Yeah.
places you could go.
Yeah. So she was very reading into a lot of things that he was saying. So, like, there's one audio that's going around in particular where at the end of one of their sessions, he's like, I'll see you next month. And she's like, see you next month? He's never said that to me before. It means he wants to see me more. He's feeling the same way that I am.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. I would 100% believe that that psychiatrist is named Henry. and he
Mhm.
won't let her call him by his first name. So she
Mhm.
has created the chat GPT named Henry now
Mhm.
to like fill that
Yeah.
void. Yeah.
The other thing is she was seeing another therapist who was like an older woman is how she described her, and
Mhm.
she said that this therapist was encouraging her, being like, "Yeah, you are being taken advantage. You are being manipulated by this person in a position of power." I should point out, like I said, mentioned the psychiatrist is a man. He's also a man of color. So I'm just going to point that out there as well because there's been some accusations thrown towards her regarding that. So, but we're not going to get into that.
Okay.
And she like some of the titles of her videos are just wild. So I came across this because I had a friend, my friend Devin reached out to me and she was like, "Have you seen this? And I hope this never happens to you."
Oh.
So, cuz she like let me scroll back up to our first message. Um she goes, "Have you heard about the mental health professional who's been joining?" Oh yeah, there's been one joining Kendra on her lives and kind of enabling her delusions behind it.
Oh, so she's got someone actually coming on to hype
Mm-hmm.
her up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she sent me, yeah, so her first message was, "Have you seen this TikTok drama about a woman in love with her psychiatrist?" And she's like, "Reminded me of you. Hope you never have to deal with that." And I said, "Hope it doesn't happen." So,
Yeah. If she just ended with reminded me of you, it's like, I really
mm-hmm,
hope you mean the mental health
mm-hmm,
professional and not the woman in love with her mental
yeah,
health professional.
yeah, yeah. So there's one story in particular that I watched that I was like, this is fucking wild. So she had a dream about him and her and the psychiatrist having sex in his office. And she had
Hmm.
this apparently when she was ovulating on a full moon. And this is something she told him. She looked him dead in the eye and said, "I ovulating and I had a dream about us having sex in your office."
And he did what?
He was like, she went into detail about it too. And he was like, "Oh, and he was trying to do
Hmm.
the professional thing to like talk through it.
Hmm.
But she was taking that as like, oh, he's interested. He's turned on
Yeah.
by this. Like, he's going to go home and masturbate to me now.
Oh shit. Now, do we know if he's come out and spoken about anything
No.
publicly yet? Okay.
Hmm.
Because I'm gonna writer brain, right?
Hmm.
Looking at it through that angle
Hmm.
and, lawyer brain. They work well in the same sometimes.
Hmm.
So from a writer perspective, I would call her like, be careful of the unreliable narrator. We are
Hmm.
seeing this story through one person's perspective, right?
Hmm.
So whether she remembers things correctly or not, if they're misperceived, everything is colored with her own perception. She's not showing us the footage, like found footage
Hmm.
style of the actual event for us to see. She's telling us her memory, and whether that's like
Hmm.
she could be dishonest about how she's portraying it, or
Hmm.
she could be honestly portraying what she think happened, which is
Hmm.
not correct or not fully correct, or she could be, you know, completely accurate in
Hmm.
what she's saying. So I always look at it as like we have one person's side of things without like the footage or photos or anything to add credibility. So I look at it
Hmm.
from like a witness perspective, lawyer wise, but also like if I was reading her account in a
Hmm.
fiction novel, I would be like, where's the twist coming when we find out what other people saw or not? Who
Hmm.
else was witnessing this that could back up what she's saying?
Hmm.
Right? That's just one thing I want to say because right now, maybe this guy never played into anything.
Yeah. And
Maybe he did.
the thing about therapists is kind of like we're trained to listen and show empathy towards you. So if you're
Mhm.
someone who has any sort of like attachment issues or trust issues or anything like that, I can see how it would be very easy to interpret that as like, oh, they well, like we do care about you, but I can see them kind of interpreting it in like, oh, they really care about me.
Mhm.
Because like
Yeah.
she begged him to be her regular therapist so she
Mhm.
could see him every week. And like that's not what psychiatrists do. Like yes, they can do kind
No.
of like the general therapy, but they're more so for like medication management. They can do assessments. They can like,
Mhm.
do all that kind of stuff. So it's not like someone like me that you're going to go see every week, every 2 weeks and kind of sit down and we're going to talk about your stuff, give you strategies to work on, because they're medical doctors. Not saying they don't
Mhm.
have any training in kind of the counseling stuff, but they come from more of like a biomedical field with regards to like treating that stuff.
Yeah, and typically, in my experience and my knowledge of it, looking at like the Canadian medical system,
Hmm.
they're used more like for diagnostic and medication change purposes, right? Like to make
Hmm.
adjustments that way. And then
Hmm.
like you don't see them that regularly,
Yeah.
typically,
Yeah.
unless you have medications that need to be adjusted like in short amounts of time rather than
Hmm.
just checking in every few months or once a year or something. But like a therapist, you're going to go to for counseling, you're going to see more regularly as much as needed to work on things ongoing.
Hmm.
So you don't really have as much of an ongoing relationship with psychiatrists.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. Like they're
Mhm.
not someone like you said, they're not someone that you're gonna go to and kind of talk about it.
Mm.
So like apparently this was on the reason she told him about the crush was this was on advice from a different therapist who told her she should tell him.
Mhm.
And she was also sending him emails detailing how much she liked him with heart emojis and he didn't respond to, obviously.
Yeah.
So kind of this is where I'm like, mm, so
Yeah. That
her
needs to be shut down.
Yeah, her view on this is that he should have ended their professional relationship once he knew she had feelings for him. And she believes that he was doing everything in her power so she could fall in love with her.
Hmm.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of on the fence about this because while I agree that you have to be aware of kind of when a relationship starts to become blur. It's one of those things where you have to decide, is it in the patient's best interest to terminate this relationship and refer them to someone else, or to continue seeing them so you can kind of work through these things?
Mhm.
I think just for the fact that she was like talking to him in detail about dreams she had about them having sex, and like somebody also made an edit of them, an AI edit of them like getting married and shit, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, don't
So
feed
like
into this.
I think he should have ended it, but like I don't know what he was thinking. This is just my opinion as someone else. Like if I was in this situation and I had a client, whether male, female, or whatever in between coming onto me this strong, I would probably end it just for the sole fact that I would feel uncomfortable and not feel like I could do my job
Yeah.
properly to help them.
Yeah. But if she was really fragile,
Hmm.
maybe he did not like terminate that professional relationship
Hmm.
because of the danger it posed to her,
Hmm.
right? Maybe he was trying to navigate it in a way to try to, like stem the flow of the bleeding, get her
Hmm.
into a place where he could remove himself or like giving him the benefit of the doubt in the situation, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, like maybe he just had no clue how to handle this at all,
Yeah.
right? And thought ignoring it will make it go away.
Yeah. So one thing she kind of brings up is she's like, He let me call him by his first name, and I'm like, girl, maybe
Yeah,
he's a psychiatrist who prefers people to call him by his first name. Like, obviously, people call me by my first name. They're not sitting there calling me Mrs. Insert last name here in session. They're calling me by my first
yeah.
name.
And like maybe he has a really hard to pronounce last name.
Yeah.
I've seen that with different doctors or professors that I had in school and stuff like this
Mm-hmm.
would have long last names, like especially foreign professors,
Mm-hmm.
and they would give you like a shortened version of their last
Mm-hmm.
name or their first name or something to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's something like that, but I don't know, it creates a lot of familiarity. That's one thing I wish I had, like, a title, like doctors have a title,
Yeah.
right? They get addressed as doctor last name,
Mm-hmm.
and as a lawyer, I don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So, when dealing, like, in court, I'm Miss Flynn,
Mm-hmm.
but out like, with my clients, outside of that, they call me by my first name.
Yeah.
And I feel like that sometimes breaks down the professionalism a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
they especially because I'm only 32. I look
Mm-hmm.
very young,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been, like, practicing 6 years, but sometimes people don't take you seriously, and you gotta fight to prove why they should be taking you seriously. But I feel like adding like, if there was, like, a lawyer title to it,
Yeah.
would have created more of a professional distance as well as, like,
Mm-hmm.
a respect thing.
Yeah.
Rather than we're just buddy buddy,
Mm-hmm.
because it's hard to navigate that kind of thing.
Yeah. It is. And like it's the same thing. Like I don't have an official title. I mean, I have a designation after my name, you know.
Mhm,
So obviously when they get the receipt, it has Rachel insert last name, RCTC, and then my registration number.
mhm,
But like they're not calling me that during the session. They call me by my first name, you know, because I introduce myself. I don't go in and say, "Hi, I'm Miss Insert Last Name." You know,
yep,
I say, "Hi, I'm Rachel. Nice to meet you." Because part of this is where it kind of gets like, you know, because part of
mhm,
being a therapist and any sort of mental health professional is you want to build the therapeutic relationship. So you want
mhm,
to get to a point where clients feel comfortable around you and they're able to kind of open up a bit more and you're able to kind of get to a point where they trust you and everything. So like for me, it's a matter of I'm not going to call them by their I'm not going to say, "Oh, Mrs. Smith or Mr. Doe or something in the session." Like I'm going to call them by their first name. And I also ask if they have a name that I've never seen. I'll be like, "Oh, I'll say their name and I'll be like, "Am I pronouncing this correctly or do you have another name that you want to go by?" Just like that, you know? So
mhm,
it's a matter about making them feel comfortable. In this case, I think she is this is my opinion, obviously, take it with a grain of salt. I think she's misinterpreting kind of
yeah,
the common things that most mental health professionals, even doctors, do, you know,
mhm,
kind of because I know, like, I'll take chiropractors, for example. My chiropractor, they're obviously a doctor because they have a doctor of chiropractic. So she's
mhm,
doctor, whatever her last name is. But I call her because we have a good relationship. I call her by her first name,
mhm,
you know, so I don't call her Dr. F. I'll just
mhm,
use her initial. I call her J by her first name.
mhm. Yeah, and even it seems like some things that are just, like, politeness,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how you interact with someone, like, maybe she's interpreting questions like, "How are you today?" Like
Yeah.
anyone we would do. Like, you see someone and be like, "Hi, good morning, how are you?"
Mm-hmm.
As, like, he's interested in me. He's interested in knowing about my day and how I'm feeling. When it's like, no, that's just a politeness. That's like a regular social script.
Mm-hmm.
You see someone, you say good morning or hi or whatever as a
Yeah.
greeting, and then you ask them how their day's been or something, or how are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. And like one thing is that she told him that they had a special patient doctor relationship and he's like, "No, we have a professional patient doctor relationship."
Mhm. In her mind, she might be like, "He's playing hard to get," or he's like, or he's just trying to protect his job, but he knows that the
Mhm.
special bond we have,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I think we look at it, the lens, her lens is always going to be like rose-colored glasses on this. This
Mhm.
is the love story that they have
Mhm.
while she's in the falling stage. Now she's in the scorned woman stage,
Mhm.
which is look what he did, which might not have been anything he did.
Mhm.
And everything of now she's embarrassed that she might have unilaterally created this
Yeah.
fantasy. And maybe he did nothing to feed into it, but obviously not enough to cut it off.
Yeah.
But even if he did do stuff to cut it off, she could still have been in this fantasy that
Mhm.
could be unshakable.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, there's another therapist she was seeing, a 75-year-old therapist who she
Mhm.
had told about her romantic feelings.
Who should be
And
wise with age.
who should be, but alas.
Mhm.
Um, and this new therapist told Kendra that the psychiatrist was probably avoiding seeing her because there was sexual tension between them.
Oh my.
And this therapist also, this is according to Kendra, would start texting Kendra for advice on other clients, which is a huge breach of confidentiality.
I wonder, like, is this a therapist she actually went and saw on like a professional level of like,
Yes.
not professional, but like to seek out your own help level? Or is
Yeah.
this like a
Yeah.
friend that like she's
No,
in a coaching business?
this
This
was
is a
an actual
therapist that,
therapist that she was seeing to talk about her other issues that she had.
yeah. So I don't know if it's like, yeah, I don't know a lot about therapy techniques, but like
Mhm.
for these types of matters,
Mhm.
but is this like maybe a therapy technique to like play into it a little bit to like work through it of like, okay, what if this is true? And she's now run away with it? Or is she just completely missing the mark of
I
what
think
this person is telling her?
I think personally it depends. So a lot of people go to therapy.
Mhm.
Not a lot. Some people, maybe 50%, maybe less. I don't know. But some people go to therapy because they think that, like, we're going to tell you how to fix your life. And it's like, no, we're not going to give you advice. We're not going to sit here and be like, yeah, you should do this, because we're here to give you tools and techniques to help manage yourself so you can figure out what is best for you.
Mhm.
So, like, you know, if you have a client be like, well, what should I do? You can't tell them what to do because that opens you up to like a liability case. If they do what you say and it doesn't turn out, then they could potentially sue you and be like, well, I was only doing what my therapist told me to do.
Yeah, that's when my people get involved.
That's when your people come and see my people and they're like, no, no, no. No, no, no. What you do? This is why we have professional liability insurance in case we get sued.
Mhm.
But this, like, so, she is Kendra's like, she's an ADHD coach. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but coach, obviously, you don't
Mhm.
have to really do too much
Yeah.
schooling to be a
So
coach.
like a lot of coaching, completely unregulated,
Yeah.
right? People might go get a certification of some kind, but it's not like there's no regulations for like you have
Hmm.
to meet a certain level of education and stuff to get your accreditation
Yeah.
for that. I've seen a lot of ADHD coaching stuff online,
Hmm.
and because I have ADHD,
Hmm.
and I've been in some like Facebook groups for free because I'm not paying for anything like that. Um, that deal with that kind of thing, and
Hmm.
a lot of it is like people with ADHD or people in different professional capacities. Like I've seen therapists that have
Hmm.
created like a ADHD coaching business on the side
Hmm.
to teach people like tips, tricks, like different coping mechanisms and practices that can help. But it doesn't like a therapist that's also a coach and a random civilian who decides
Mhm.
to coach, they don't like there's nothing really regulating that you have to meet a certain criteria.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Just whoever brought a bigger gun.
Yeah. And so like one thing what this other therapist was doing completely unethical and a breach of privacy and confidentiality, because why are you
Mhm.
discussing other clients with a client? And
Mhm.
I think Kendra said that she was like, oh, she was asking for like ADHD. I'm like, no, no, no. You don't ask one of your clients because you're going to tell them information about other clients. You ask another mental health professional. You reach out to someone who maybe specializes in that, or like a
Mhm.
colleague or something, because that's what we do. We talk to our colleagues. Like I have a supervisor until I get the C off my name, so I have her that I can go to and be like, "Hey, I have this thing that I'm not really sure." Da 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 da. It's just you don't do that. That's a breach
Mhm.
of confidentiality. Like that's a huge no no. Because if the
Mhm.
other clients find out, then they can turn around and sue this therapist, and they could potentially sue Kendra to be like, okay, well, you were involved in this, and now you know the details of my life, and you know the fact that like me and my wife are furries, and we do these shit with our ADHD. I don't know.
I don't think they'd be able to sue Kendra in that.
They might try. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think that would work
America's
though.
wild.
Because Kendra didn't owe them anything in this, but
Yeah.
that therapist owed them stuff.
Yeah.
So any damage Kendra did is actually the
hmm
therapist's problem.
hmm She also, with regards to kind of like her yoga, because she was working at a yoga studio. She no longer works at the yoga studio. So basically, apparently, she sat down this yoga class and she was telling them about the unjust and the bullying from the TikTok comments and how she was being oppressed by TikTok comments and and talking about how, you know, people are making fun of her and saying she's like lying, and she's like, I'm just speaking my truth because I was being taken advantage of. And one thing I have to say to that is, okay, if you seriously feel that he did something wrong in that relationship, why are you not reporting him to whatever medical board of the state you're in?
Exactly.
Like, why? She got fired from the yoga studio for that, by the way. So
Yeah. That is interesting.
hmm
Like, why are you sitting down your whole yoga class to be like, now breathe in and breathe out the oppression I felt.
hmm
And let me tell you all about my sordid tale.
hmm
She just turned it into like everybody come support me. Everybody come like validate my feelings
hmm
because TikTok is no longer doing that.
Yeah, this brings kind of one of my issues with TikTok.
Hmm.
And I use TikTok. I have a problem with TikTok because my brain rot is now just the lizard meme. Or the Lorax, and now I'm bashful. But anyways, this is my problem with TikTok is people are using it to kind of, not kind of, people are using it in a sense to self-diagnose and kind of seek out advice for stuff.
Hmm.
So like, yeah, it's great that people are sharing kind of their struggles with any mental illness or anything that's going on. However, if you're someone who, you've been questioning whether you have, let's take ADHD, for example, you're questioning, be like, oh, maybe I have ADHD, and you see a video and somebody's like, oh, yeah, this is like what I have for my ADHD. You could be like, oh, well, I must have ADHD because of X, Y, and Z. And like,
Hmm.
it's a very dangerous thing to kind of have people out there who are self diagnosing, because it creates issues. Because if you think you have that, then, and there's people out there who kind of use mental illness as an excuse for behavior. They're like, oh, well, I did this because it's my ADHD, or I did this because I'm in a manic episode. And I'm like, no, you can't be doing that. You have to take responsibility for your actions. Your mental illness is not the cause for you to do the actions, it contributes to why you act certain ways because your brain chemistry is different, but it's not the reason why you did this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it explains things about
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and you can like lead it to like, oh, that's why I was doing those things. But you have to
Mm-hmm.
become aware of that, and then you have to work on it. Because repeating the same actions, especially those actions that have caused yourself or other people harm,
Mm-hmm.
that's not that's not okay to keep doing that. Now, this whole self-diagnosis thing, I do like TikTok and like Instagram reels and stuff, people sharing their experience online
Mm-hmm.
that can help people kind of go, "Oh, hey, that sounds a lot like me." But what's dangerous to me is when people will go, "Oh, 100%, I have that,"
Mm-hmm.
rather than go, "That sounds a lot like me. I'm gonna look into it and contact a professional and be like, I'm starting to think like this person is sharing their experience. I've done a bunch of research. I think I might have this. Can you help
Mm-hmm.
me find out if I have this?"
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just be like, "Well, I have it, so why do I need to go find out for sure?"
Well, even just the fact if you go, even if you're like, okay, well, I have this, and you go seek help, and you're just like, yeah, I have ADHD. Like, one of the questions that I ask is, okay, have you been officially diagnosed?
Yeah.
Because I want to be aware that if that is an actual diagnosis, then that's something we can kind of work into the treatment. So I'll ask and be like, okay, have you been officially diagnosed with this? If they say no, okay, have you looked into being diagnosed? Getting an assessment done to kind of see, because like I can't do assessments, I'm not trained in assessments, but
Mhm.
like psychologists can do assessments, medical doctors can do assessments. I also can't diagnose. So, like I'm trained to recognize and be like, it seems like you have traits of this. However, you should get an official diagnosis if that's what you feel. There's another
Mhm.
thing with this Kendra thing. So she had the AI bot Henry.
Yeah.
She also has another AI chatbot she's talking to named Claude.
She had a side piece chatbot?
She did. And Claude called her the Oracle of Truth.
Did you program him that way?
No. But AI bots learn from what is fed to them. So
Mhm.
basically, Claude called her the Oracle, saying that she is speaking her truth. What was the exact definition? I need to look this up because I can't exactly remember what the exact definition of the Oracle of Truth is because it was fucking wild.
Oracle of truth. Jesus Christ.
Oracle of Not the Oracle of Delphi. I know what that was.
Totally different.
Yeah, not Oracle of Truth Academy. Why are we bringing Paper Mario Oracle of Truth? Give me a definition of Oracle of Truth. So,
Paper Mario.
yeah, it came up Paper Mario Oracle of Truth. So basically, an Oracle of Truth refers to a person who provides wise, authoritative, and insightful truths or truth-filled statements of a message that's regarded as infallible and true. So basically, Claude is being like, what you are saying is true, and you are speaking your truth to this person.
Mm. Yeah, so Claude is just hyping her up.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, "Go further into this delusion.
Yeah,
You can't be wrong. You're the Oracle of truth."
exactly. You are being oppressed by people who are non-believers.
Okay, Claude is trying to have her start a cult.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, she had another therapist come on one of her lives because she's been doing TikTok lives to talk about it, where she also talks to the AIs and asks them questions. It's a whole thing. Um,
Yeah.
And this therapist is like, yeah, no, you're totally right. He's totally in love with you. And I'm like, people need to stop feeding into this because right now we only have what she's saying. We don't have it. Like, she hasn't provided any proof that he's crossed these professional boundaries.
Exactly. Except her word.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, her word is a little suspect at
Mm-hmm.
minimum. And now she's bringing in professionals to back up what she's saying without looking at anybody's side but hers,
Mm-hmm.
and to try to give more credibility to what she's saying.
Yeah. So one of Kendra's former friends spoke out. It was someone that she had reached out to kind of get some coaching with ADHD. And
Mhm.
apparently, like, it wasn't actual coaching, it was just some like reading stuff, but she charged her like $3,000 for this.
Oh,
Hmm.
she's a scam artist.
Maybe.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so
3 grand.
some of the theories are that she might be having like a psychotic break, and we're
Yep.
kind of witnessing that. There's something here where people are thinking she's kind of experiencing AI psychosis.
AI psychosis.
So, AI psychosis is a situation where someone develops delusional beliefs based on AI interactions. So, because chatbots are designed to empathize and affirm existing beliefs, they unintentionally strengthen distorted thinking.
Yep. Like, side note on AI,
Mm-hmm.
there's a big uptake in the legal community for using AI to draft things, like
Mm-hmm.
writing arguments and stuff, and AI makes up cases. So there
Mm-hmm.
have been lawyers who have been disbarred and just, like,
Mm-hmm.
disciplined across, like, in the US. I think there's been a couple cases in Canada where
Mm-hmm.
lawyers have relied on AI to draft things. AI has made up case law that didn't exist,
Mm-hmm.
written it in the proper citation, and said, like, this justice said this. And, like, they've made whole arguments about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, then when they get to court, they didn't check their work. So they get to court, and the judge is like, I can't find this whatever versus whatever case you're talking about. Can you
Mm-hmm.
provide me a copy? And then the lawyer finds out that that case doesn't exist. Chat GPT made it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then that lawyer looks like an idiot, because at that point you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then, heavily sanctioned. Is dangerous. Why are we going to law school and training and getting tested to make sure that you, like, pass the bar and everything to become a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
and having to do so many hours, like, continuing legal education to keep your status, then if you can just type something into ChatGPT and put it out there.
Yeah. Like, I have my own issues with kind of the AI in general. It's very like, I mean, honestly, I feel like it is taking over. AI is going to take over the world, you know? So, like,
Yeah.
and it is in a
Yeah.
sense, because I remember when I was doing my master's, it wasn't in my class, but it was in a friend's class, that someone, like the prof, basically called them out for using AI for a response
Mhm.
because they didn't have like references or anything and that kind of stuff. Um, and I was like, yeah, this is a problem. So,
Yeah. I've seen too many horror movies, so I'm
mhm,
like, I'm not gonna piss off the AI, you
mhm.
know? But I'm not gonna use it a lot either.
Yeah. Like, I will admit I've used AI art generator to make some art. I'm trying to steer away from it. But Pinterest is kind of also hit or miss if it's an AI generated art piece or not. Like I have some
Mhm.
friends who are artists, so I'm trying to like stay away from AI art, but I can't draw for shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna bug them and be like, hey, can you draw this thing for me? No, I'm just gonna like look it up. So there's some reactions to her video series. Apparently now I've just seen another article. Apparently it's like 32 plus parts at this point.
Like, yeah, she's gonna keep going.
And I'm like, girl, some to stop. You need to stop. She started off the comments on her videos because people are apparently they're being mean according to her. And I'm like, no, they're just pointing out the inconsistencies and you might be
Mhm.
slightly delusional.
Yeah, and she can't handle hearing things that are
Mm-hmm.
against what she's believing,
Mm-hmm.
right? She's going to turn herself away from anything that would damage her like created reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's someone on X, formerly known as Twitter, that
Mhm.
made a comment because I guess Kendra at some point assumed her psychiatrist was gay because he wasn't attracted to her.
Okay.
And the you know Kendra, I guess, asked her Henry, the AI chatbot, like, oh, I have a crush on my psychiatrist, do you think he's gay? And this
Mhm.
person was like, white women made the same assumption about my dad being gay because, wait for it, he wouldn't hit on them or flirt back in their professional workplace. And I'm like, hello, hello.
Oh my God. So she's going bouncing back and forth between Henry and Claude, both
Mm-hmm.
AI,
Mm-hmm. No, she's
and
using
they're
both of them. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
she's bouncing back between them, and they're just like basically hyping her up
Mm-hmm.
with this shit, right? Claude is like, you should go full cult leader now,
Yeah.
right? Free everybody, free all the
Mm-hmm.
oppressed, drink all the Kool-Aids. Oh, good God. This
Yeah.
woman, like, it's it's ridiculous and it's sad to see. And now, like, at
Mm-hmm.
no other time in history would you see somebody's mental breakdown so publicly
Yeah.
and in real time as it's
Mm-hmm.
happening and
Yeah.
as it's getting worse and she's trying to do everything to protect the
Mm-hmm.
delusion.
Yeah. I mean, she hasn't seen him in 5 months at this point.
Mhm.
Unsure why they're not seeing each other, that she hasn't really said. But some of the comments are like they're scared for the psychiatrist because, like, what
Mhm.
if she is in the middle of a mental break, a psychotic break, it's like,
Mhm.
and she gets to that point of kind of losing all sense of reality. They're like, what's she gonna do in that moment? Like, is she gonna find him and like confront him? Is there a chance that she might hurt him? Like, will
Yeah.
she have to be 5150, which is where they commit you involuntarily in the US? Like,
Yeah. And like movies would tell us that she's on the way to if I can't have you, no one can.
mm-hmm.
And if this was a horror movie, it would end with a final showdown between them of him running for his life while she tries to kill him,
Yeah.
right?
One of the comments is trauma bond doesn't mean what you think it does. And like, it doesn't. I don't know what she thinks trauma bonding means, but it's not
Yeah.
what she thinks it means.
I think she's interpreting it as like
Mm-hmm.
she was disclosing traumatic stuff to somebody and hard
Mm-hmm.
things to talk about, and they created a bond while she was disclosing,
Mm-hmm.
which is that's not what it means, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not what it means. So trauma bond is not. I think she's misinterpreting it as like, I'm explaining my trauma to him and this is creating a bond between us, which is not what trauma bonding means. Trauma bonding means that you have someone who's been through similar or not similar situations. Actually, I'm going to look up the actual definition so I don't get yelled at by people.
Yeah, because I'm like, I thought I understood trauma bond, and now I'm like, just doubting.
Mhm.
What
Okay.
does this mean now?
So, trauma bond is an unhealthy emotional attachment that develops in a relationship with a power imbalance. So it's a characterized by a dynamic of intermittent reinforcement, creating intense emotional highs and lows, where the victim it's kind of in a often between an abuser and a victim, but it can be
Yeah.
between like romantic partners. So there's highs and lows where they feel loyal to the person despite recognizing that this is an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah, so you see it a lot of in abusive relationships
Mhm.
where the victim becomes trauma bonded with the abuser,
Mhm.
and it's part of the reason why you get people not understanding, like, well, if he, like, harmed you, why are you staying with him,
Yeah.
right? Or vice versa, like, gender-wise, right? But
Mhm.
the person who's being abused, like, why are you staying? And
Mhm.
it's like, why can you still love them?
Yeah.
But it's like a coping mechanism that happens in the brain to
Mhm.
try to protect itself, which actually draws the person nearer to the danger
Yeah.
rather than get them away.
Yeah. So basically, it's kind of like, okay, well, despite the fact that they're not treating me the best, they still understand because maybe this person went through similar things. So you guys have this, like, you feel like you have this connection and this loyalty to them to stick around,
Mhm.
because this is why, like, the hardest part of, we're getting deep now, the hardest part of leaving an abusive situation is the leaving part. This is why
And
people don't
staying
just
away.
leave. Yeah, this is why the people don't just up and leave and stay away. Like,
Mhm.
it
Yeah. This is
takes
why they go back,
yeah,
right? Why they
exactly.
get out and they're safe and they're free and they go back. And it
Mhm.
doesn't make sense from a logic perspective because of, like, why would you go back to somewhere where you are
Mhm.
going into danger? So, like, if this was a fire that you ran from, you
Mhm.
wouldn't jump back into the fire after you
Mhm.
got out. You'd be like, "Well, thank God I'm not on fire anymore."
Yeah.
But the way that trauma bond works, it is constantly trying to drag you back.
Yeah.
And
And
you
with
might
the
that abuser might also be trying to do that too, to, like,
yeah.
convince you with the whole,
Yeah.
"I won't do it, it was a mistake, blah, 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 I love you, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah."
Yeah. And it's very confusing because when you're in that type of relationship where you have this bond, your reality and your perception of yourself and your views becomes very distorted. And you
Mhm,
basically, because you've been gaslit so long and like made to believe that everything is your fault and like this is your fault for being here in a sense, it's like you can't trust yourself to be without them because you're like, no, 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 they love me.
mhm.
Like they wouldn't yeah, they hurt me in the past, but they said they're not gonna do it again.
Yeah,
And
and
like in
sometimes they'll
Ken
place the blame on something else, right? It'd be like, "Well,
yeah.
my partner wouldn't be doing that if they weren't drinking," right?
Yeah.
It's the drinking or the drug problem,
Mhm.
not the person that's actually acting out the abuse, right?
Yeah, or
So
they'll blame
they make
themselves. So
excuses for the
a
person
lot of time
or
they blame
yeah.
themselves to be like, "Oh yeah, no, I didn't put that away. I should have put it away. I knew they had a hard day." And like
Mhm,
in Kendra's situation, I'm like, this is you're like this is not a situation where you're being trauma bonded with your psychiatrist. Like he's not,
mm-mm,
as far as we know, because we don't know his side of the story. And honestly, I saw something that, you know, even if he wanted to speak out, I don't know if he could because of the privacy and the confidentiality with that
yeah,
patient provider, agreement.
mhm.
I don't think he could really speak up
Yeah, he can't
about,
defend himself at this.
yeah, which
Now
if you think about it, that kind of sucks
Oh,
Because,
it
like,
sucks.
he's bound by, his duty as a psychiatrist, as a medical professional, that he can't break that to, like, defend
Hmm.
himself. Because if he breaks it, that opens him up for, like I said, liability for potentially being sued by Kendra.
Yeah, or to lose his license,
Yeah.
which is his way to make money to support himself and
Hmm.
potentially his family. If he has a
Hmm.
family, like he may be the sole breadwinner in the household and he has to
Hmm.
protect that, right? I I look at what has she said that he's done. She's said generalizations that he's
Hmm.
manipulated her,
Hmm.
right? But has she said anything, like, described what he's said or done that's done anything besides he smiled really big,
So
right?
one thing he said is he complimented her glasses. And he
Yeah.
said he likes the tortoiseshell one because he wears tortoiseshell glasses. But she took that as, "Oh my god, he loves these glasses because he loves me." And she has continuously worn the
Mhm.
tortoiseshell glasses in her TikToks in hopes that he will see them.
Yeah. So, like, what she's described as him showing interest in her on
Mhm.
her end has been complimenting her glasses, which is, like, the least sexy thing to compliment, okay?
Mhm.
If you went up to someone in a bar to hit on them,
Mhm.
glasses is, like, the least sexual. You could go a lot
Mhm.
closer to things. You could be like, even lipstick. If he had complimented her lipstick, that's
Mhm.
more toward not professional, right? Or like a
Yeah.
low cut top or something. Like
Mhm.
something that would show more like a sexual component rather than a
Mhm.
just a fashion
Mhm.
component, right? And so he's done that. He's smiled really big, apparently,
Mhm.
and he's generally manipulated her with no specific examples,
Mhm.
right? To me, that doesn't sound like he's done anything wrong,
Mhm.
except maybe not cut the relationship off to stem this before it got this bad.
Mhm.
Or maybe this is her reaction after he did cut that relationship off.
Yeah.
Maybe this is her response. We don't know what his end is.
Mhm. So I'm on a Reddit page about it, and there's a really good post that someone commented. I don't know if they're a therapist, they might be based on this post. So they say, and this is something you asked about, like, oh, like, can he just
Mhm.
drop her? Like, it's complicated. So, like, as a
Yeah.
therapist, the expectation is that if you both agree that work can continue and be productive despite their feelings towards you, then you continue the work. The therapeutic relationship is the most important aspect of therapy. This is true. If the relationship is broken, which is called a rupture, therapy won't be effective. It
Mhm.
can be incredibly healing for a client to develop feelings for a therapist. The therapist recognizes, set boundaries, and process those feelings, and the client truly understand where those emotions came from, why they felt they were appropriate, and how to set better boundaries for themselves in the future.
Mhm.
The two main ethical considerations are harm to the client and continuation of care. As others have stated, you can't just kick a client to the curb, but you don't have to continue seeing them. That could pose a whole other set of ethical issues. You have to provide them with appropriate referrals and communicate the termination and reason for the termination. The
Mhm.
second ethical consideration is harm to the client. This is where the psychologist is really erring. Their psychiatrist, sorry. There's
Mhm.
significant harm being done to this client by continuing to see them. They're not seeing each other at the moment, but he
Mhm.
needs to set a 1 month deadline for the client to find another provider for them to resolve any unfinished business and to process the reason for transfer. By continuing to see this client for years, he's really breaching ethics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with that because there are ethical guidelines set by, for me, it's for the Canadian Counseling and Psychotherapy Association, is the ones that I follow. But they're
Mhm.
similar for, you know, um, there's like the Canadian Psychological Association, so it's similar
Mhm.
to what? It is. And I'm sure you probably have something, maybe some similar thing for being a lawyer.
Yeah, we have like a professional code of conduct with
Hmm.
our bar associations. So like our bar associations are based on province.
Yeah.
So we have to follow the like the ethical code
Hmm.
that's listed for our province that we're subject to. Now, if you can be called to multiple bars
Hmm.
across Canada. It's like there's lawyers that practice in different provinces or like travel back and forth and stuff. So
Hmm.
like they have to abide by that stuff, and they're mostly similar.
Yeah.
They might just have a little bit different wording to them, really.
Yeah. So like I just pulled up because I have the code of ethics saves because I needed it for a course. So like for
Hmm.
our ethical principles, we have six of them. So there's benefits, which is being proactive and promoting the best interests of clients.
Hmm.
Fidelity, honoring commitments to clients and maintaining integrity in counseling relationship. Non-maleficence, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Uh,
Malfeasance.
Malfeasance, thank you.
Hmm.
Refraining from actions that risk harm and not willfully harming clients. Autonomy, respecting the rights of clients to agency and self-determination. Justice, respecting the dignity of all persons and honoring the right to just treatment. And societal interest, upholding responsibility to act in the best interests of society.
Hmm.
So if he was in Canada and say if he was what I am, like I'm a registered counseling therapist candidate, or if he was like a psychotherapist or just a Canadian clinical counselor, in my opinion, he's not following the, how do you pronounce that again?
Malfeasance.
Non malfeasance. He's not
Hmm.
following that one because his actions, whether he means to or not, are unintentionally harming her.
Hmm. Yeah, and yeah, that's the only thing. From what she's told us,
Mm-hmm.
if we believe what she said in terms of what she said he's done
Mm-hmm.
and that they continued the relationship, uh like the treatment relationship for as
Mm-hmm.
long as they did, then yeah, he should have cut that off.
Mm-hmm.
But she also, from what you've told me, has only said two instances where she brought it up to him,
Yeah.
right? So my thing is she someone who's bringing it up every day when she goes in, or did she bring up that she had that sexual dream once, and that when she told him she loved him, but did she do it every time? Was those the two only instances where she verbally communicated that to him, and the rest was all just looking at him with like hard eyes every time she walked in,
Yeah. So
right?
there's other, so he also does in person and virtual, and I guess they were doing virtual appointments. And she got
Hmm.
upset when she found out she could do in person and was like, "Well, why can't we do in person?" And the old psychologist said he doesn't want to do in person because there would be uncomfortable sexual tension.
Yeah,
And she takes this, what is said, as like, oh, it's on both sides. It's like, no, no, girl, it's on the
yeah.
one side.
So like he might have went, let's do virtual
Hmm.
to make there's like a more clear cut professional distance
Hmm.
between them, trying to stem like to like put a stopper in this issue,
Hmm.
not let it get any worse. Whereas, that maybe that wasn't the best thing to do rather than just end the professional relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm not willing to trust an unreliable narrator here,
Hmm.
right? So everything she's been saying and doing has been feeding her delusion. She's been using Chat GPT to hype her up with this stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, she's been talking to a therapist who's supporting her beliefs of
Hmm.
this rather than going, hey, even if it's true, that's not appropriate.
Hmm.
And like, you're part of this too. you need to like distance yourself,
Yeah.
work on something, right? Like, so what we're getting her only her side, and her side is she's using other things to support it. And when she
Mhm.
gets comments that are not supporting it, she decides to end those comments being able to be made
Mhm.
so that nobody can say, hey, no, that's not good
Yeah.
to her. She literally starts, like, goes into her yoga class and makes everybody listen to it
Mhm.
to try to get more validation. So I don't know. This psychiatrist could be an asshole, complete terrible
Mhm.
asshole that manipulated her this entire time. But I don't know. I'm just not willing to trust her at her word.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
It's
also been
a
the person who's like had people post something online, like ex-clients, and for me, the only ones who have ever said a bad word about me online have been people who refuse to pay their bills that I dropped,
mm,
right? And I can't defend myself
mhm.
because of solicitor client privilege. That
Yeah.
still applies even though we don't have that relationship anymore. I can't go out and be like, well, don't listen to this dude. He just won't pay his bills,
Mhm.
right? So I dropped him as a client. I can't ever say that. I
Yeah.
can't ever comment that. I can't
Mhm.
ever do anything except tell him to take down his posts
Yeah.
if it got bad, right?
Mhm.
So I have a little bit of sympathy for the psychiatrist in he can't come out and tell his side of things
Mhm.
to give like see both sides of the story,
Mhm.
and she's not showing us anything that's not fully her word.
Mhm.
She's not like, well, look at these emails I sent him with all these heart emojis, and he was sending them back with
Mhm.
his responses. Yeah, like she's not giving us details. She doesn't have anyone else coming being like, well, I saw them interact once and he was like
Mhm.
this, right?
Yeah.
We got no external sources.
Yeah. It's very it sucks. I agree cuz like
Mhm.
the biggest thing is that unless she actually decides to file a complaint with the medical licensing board in whatever state she's in, because I believe this is happening in the Yeah, it's happening in the US. Because they will do a full investigation, and typically that will be something that people will be able to see, especially if it came up that he was he was doing what she said.
Mhm.
We're not going to know from his perspective because he is unfortunately bound by patient provider confidentiality.
Yeah. Now, I
Now,
don't think she would ever put in the
mhm,
complaint.
yeah.
And my reasoning for it is that she would have to have somebody else say, no, that's not what happened. Because
Mhm,
obviously, even if he did it, why would he admit to it, right?
mhm,
It would be in his best interest to try to defend it and say, no, 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 she's got this all wrong, right?
mhm,
So if she went the right way to handle a situation like this, went to the board, tried to
mhm,
put in a complaint and get an investigation done, there would be pushback. There would be another person able to speak and defend
mhm,
themselves and say, no, that's not this, which would shake her delusion.
mhm.
Whereas if she doesn't go through that method, she's kind of free and clear to do whatever she wants and believe whatever she wants, and nobody can shake her delusion.
Yeah. I will say, though he is bound by the confidentiality and the privacy, there
Mhm.
is and I'm not sure if this is similar in the US. I'm assuming it probably is because if you're a mandated reporter,
Mhm.
I feel like if it was to get to the point that there was enough reasonable, plausible, plausible deniability, I think is what I want to
Mhm.
say, that she might harm herself or the psychiatrist,
Mm-hmm.
that is a situation where he, because of the duty to warn and you're a mandated reporter, that is a situation where he can and be like, I'm concerned for this former patient of mine. This is the behavior she's been exhibiting. I think she's going to either do something to herself or she might do something to me. That would be the
Mm-hmm.
only case in which he would actually be able to speak out, or the other psychologist, mental health professional she's been talking to would be able to speak out and kind of
Mm-hmm.
be like, this is what happened.
Now, could he possibly approach? Because I don't know how it works I don't know how it works in the US, and I don't know how it works with these types of boards and stuff. But would he be able to approach the medical board that like
Mm-hmm.
is governing him to be like, there is an instance that I want you to be aware of from like a liability aspect here of a
Mm-hmm.
person making claims that this was an inappropriate relationship. And he could almost initiate the investigation by him coming forward. Because I'm wondering, because with the Law Society, if I was in a situation like that,
Mm-hmm.
I can't give details that could be identifying with the names or anything like
Mm-hmm.
this, but I am allowed to reach out for like advice professional responsibility wise or
Mm-hmm.
reporting something to like the insurance and
Yeah.
stuff, which could end up sparking them to look into this and trying to
Mm-hmm.
track down who this person is without me giving any information that could have identified, like specifically,
Yeah. I
right?
don't know if he could. That's actually a good question, because I think for my, so like my organization is the Nova Scotia College of Counseling Therapists,
Mm-hmm.
NSCCT for short. So like I can reach out to them and get assistance on like ethical things.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like with the medical board, you could do the same thing. I don't know if it would launch an investigation or if you could just reach out and get like some sort of legal, ethical advice on how to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Like I'd say he probably has already spoken to a lawyer
Hmm.
where this is going viral on the internet,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Because eventually this will tie back to him.
Yeah, even though she's
So,
not using his name, like there's
yeah.
debates about the fact that she's named the AI Henry and people are like, "Oh, Henry's his real name." So like there's
Mm-hmm.
debates around that. So there is a very good chance that it could get back to him. And my thing with that is it can damage his professional reputation if this is going viral and people and maybe
Mm-hmm.
other clients of his kind of see it. They might be like, oh well, maybe this is happening to me too, so this is, I would
Yeah.
like to think he's spoken to a lawyer. We don't know.
Yeah. And like her not identifying him
Hmm.
means that he can't make a case for defamation,
Hmm.
right? Now, I just want to throw a whole wrench into this.
Okay, go for it.
What if this never existed at all and she's made it up to get attention on the internet?
That's a comment that I've seen, that people are saying she's trying to do this to gain traction for her ADHD life coaching, which is a whole other. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah. So, like, because I'm like, what therapist in their right mind is going to tell her, oh, no, he won't see you in person because of the sexual tension,
Hmm.
right? Like, only somebody as delusional as she seems to be. But maybe
Yeah.
she's not delusional. Maybe this is not her reality at all. Maybe she's just lying.
She actually made a comment on that her perception of reality is not everybody's perception of reality. And I was like, ma'am, this is what we call cognitive distortions.
Yeah.
You
Like,
have cognitive distortions about what reality is.
like, ma'am, you're just aware enough.
Yeah.
You have just amount of awareness to recognize that everybody perceives things differently,
Hmm.
but You've not been using that correctly.
Yeah, you've not been cognitively aware enough to know that this is this is not okay. Like this is
Mhm.
bordering into she described it as an addiction. I would say it's probably like an obsession at this point. It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. This is an obsession
Mhm.
that she's got, but just for me, I hope that the psychiatrist doesn't even exist
Mm.
because I hope she's not screwing up somebody's life who can't defend themselves
Yeah.
and may be completely innocent.
Yeah.
I would much rather if this is complete bullshit, a publicity stunt that she just wants to be famous on the internet.
I mean, it'd be a shitty publicity stunt. I can't talk today apparently. Um but yeah, yeah, I am also of the mindset that like as shitty as it would be for her to make this up because that's a whole other issue in itself.
Mhm.
There is part of me that like I don't know, it just seems like I want it part of me wants it to be fake, but I think there's a part of me deep down that's like no, I think this is real.
Real that the the psychiatrist was playing into this, or real that
No.
that she experienced
Real that
something that she's
she
interpreting.
yeah, I think it's more so I want to have the benefit of the doubt, and I've been seeing people online being like, "Man, I can't believe I have to defend a man." But I
Yeah, same.
but kind of like as a mental health professional, a new mental health professional who kind of had to deal with a client who was pushing my boundaries when I was in my
Mhm.
practicum, it's like I can kind of see, and I feel
Yeah.
like this probably did happen, but I think there's a lot of misinterpreting going on from her
Mhm.
end. On the same side, maybe there is something that he might have unconsciously, unaware did that caused
Mhm.
her to have these misinterpretations. Because obviously, there's three
Yeah.
sides to every story there's her side, there's the psychiatrist side, and there's the truth.
Yeah.
And the truth is somewhere in between the two.
Somewhere. And one person might have it all right. That's the
Hmm.
thing with these like three sides to every story.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that. It's just that, perception is reality. Like even if you like sit down and watch a TV show, two people can watch the same thing and come to this different uh different conclusions of like what those symbols meant in it or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
And not
Exactly.
and you know, they've watched the same thing. They've taken in the same evidence
Hmm.
to build their opinions and their like reality of what they thought happened.
Hmm.
But in this situation, we've got one person who's building a story
Hmm.
for everybody
Yeah.
and then eliminating any way for people to fact check her, for to deny anything to her, to give her any reality checks. She's cutting
Hmm.
off those things.
Yeah.
So that could be an instance of she's someone who's experienced gaslighting
Hmm.
or being told that like not being believed, and
Hmm.
it could be a sensitivity to her,
Yeah.
right? That I give her the benefit of the doubt of it, that she could be just like trying to protect herself in that.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
people can be mean online. They can be
Mm.
hateful. They can call
Yeah.
you really bad things.
Yeah.
So, you know, could have been an honest move that way, but I think she might I think she's definitely misinterpreted things.
Yeah.
I would lean more toward this psychiatrist having just not handled the situation well rather than
Yeah.
actively manipulated and created this situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I reality is subjective
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to these type of things. And like, yes, we as a society should believe people when they come forward with these stories. However, also as a society, we need to be consciously aware that not everybody is going to be completely forthcoming about what actually happened.
And it might not even be their own, it might not even be dishonest intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think the best thing that could be done for this woman is to connect her with making a complaint through proper channels,
Mm-hmm.
even if she's got a lawyer representing her to help advocate for her and make sure she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't get swept aside and stuff,
Yeah.
to like push it through the proper channels and get this figured out,
Yeah. I agree.
right? Because if this psychiatrist did do what she's accusing him of, he should not be practicing where he could harm other people that way,
Agreed. Agreed.
right? And either that means he needs to go do some training, he needs to be supervised in his practice, or he needs to lose his license,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like something needs to be done if that's the case. If this is her belief, she needs help,
Yeah.
right? She doesn't need to be hyped up. She doesn't need to be torn down. She just needs help.
Yeah. Yeah. And that could be
Mm,
why she turned off the comments. Like, she doesn't need people coming at her and saying, oh, you're wrong, you're delusional. She needs help.
yeah. And the only person qualified to give that kind of help would be a mental health professional. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe she should see some females rather than males. Because if she's someone who is prone to interpreting kind of attention from males that is completely innocent in a
Mm-hmm.
way that's not like construe it more to like sexual advances, then, you know, that's
Yeah.
not probably going to be the best,
Mm-hmm.
uh, patient professional relationship for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. This has been a serious episode.
It has. It has been a serious episode. We haven't really done a serious episode in a long time. I think the last serious episode we did was when we talked about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case.
And to be fair, that wasn't 100% serious.
No, it wasn't.
No. Because, I mean, how can you talk about Amber Heard's testimony and be 100% serious
Mm-hmm.
with that ridiculousness that came
Yeah.
out in that trial?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I will say, to kind of leave this on a lighter note, D&D's been going well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Are you into your DM time
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Ooh.
And I've been streaming it as well on my Twitch.
I'm gonna have to tune in.
We stream Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. my
Ah,
time, which is
Tuesday
8.
nights now.
Yeah. Well, just because that worked better for one of the players.
Hmm.
But yeah, Tuesday, 8 p.m. my time, which would be 8:30 for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're about to go fight some gnolls tomorrow, which are kind of like hyena looking things.
No.
Yeah, they're gonna go fight some gnolls for their new little Kenku friend, and a Kenku is a small crow basically. Very cute,
Hmm.
very adorable, very mindful, very demure. Um, they walked in on, well, one of them interrupted a gnoll while he was jorking it last session, so we'll see how that goes tomorrow night. Because I sent you, one of the girls is an artist, and I sent you the edit she did of the recap on Instagram.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
I sent it to you like last week
Hold up now. I'm gonna go look because I did not see this. Where is it?
When did I send it?
Ah, I see it now.
Yeah.
Okay, I will watch this when we get off because
Mhm.
otherwise I won't be able to hear you.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, so that's kind of like I wanted to talk about this, like obviously because it is crazy,
hmm
but also the fact to kind of bring a bit more of like a serious topic of discussion where I'm a mental health professional, you're a lawyer, to kind of get the two sides of like the blah. But yeah, if you like this episode, you can let us know. Find us on our Instagram, we're Inconsistent Podcast 1. Facebook, we're Inconsistently Consistent. You can send us an email if you have any thoughts about the whole Kendra debacle, inconsistentpodcast1@gmail.com. You can follow me on TikTok. I changed my name so it matches with my Twitch because I've been posting clips there from my Twitch. So it's I think it's just Rhaenyra. Let me double check my TikTok first to make sure. Yes, it's just Rhaenyra, so it's RAEHNYRAA because Rhaenyra with one A was already taken.
hmm
Melanie, where can they find
Rachel.
you?
They can find me and all my social links and stuff at www.melanieflynnbooks.com. And you'll also find updates as we get closer to the release of the new book called The Lost Lamb, which is the sequel to The Toy Maker. And we are aiming to get it out before Christmas. We got fingers crossed. I don't have an exact release date yet, but I'm very excited.
I'm also very excited. Remember to like, rate, review, share us with your friends. We're on YouTube. Podcast out? Question mark. Bye.
Bye.